In those early days, Walt Disney himself was the voice of Mickey Mouse. Now he's a tycoon at the center of a vast business empire. Mr. Disney, can you still make a noise like Mickey Mouse?
Well, yes, but of course I don't make many Mickey Mouse films.
Can you make that noise for us now?
Well, Mickey used to talk something like this, you know, kind of a falsetto. Of course, he's an old mouse now, and the falsetto's getting a little old, you know.
Yeah, well, now, when you first dreamed up these characters, did you think of them as simply as comic animals, or were you concerned with them as human personalities?
Well, no, I'd say human personalities in the body of a cartoon animal. It was just a way to sort of crowd our way into with the competition, you know.
But the competition of animated cartoons?
Yes, in those days I had Felix the Cat to compete with, and I can't remember all the others, but you just had to get in there, and you had to make them funnier or better, or I don't know what.
Well, the character of Donald Duck is probably the character of Donald Duck is even better known than that of Mickey, I'd say, isn't it? I mean, this very angry man who always seems to be getting into terrible scrapes in the form of a duck.
No, I don't know whether he's better known. Mickey is very well known around the world, but the duck came along as a result of too many taboos put onto Mickey Mouse. People didn't feel that Mickey could blow his top like the duck. In other words, he had to maintain a certain dignity. So in order to give ourselves a latitude, we created this little duck. It's this terrible-tempered Mr. Duck.
As an outlet for yourself?
Yes, and it gave us the contrast that we needed in the film. Now, I used to team Mickey and the duck together at one time. And also, at one time, I had all four of these characters in one film at one time. Then I divided them up, and each one had his own film. Each one had his own show.
But what about the charges of cruelty made against you in relation to the earlier films, the Donald Duck films, the extreme...
You mean where we'd hit him on the head or something
that
like
sort of thing, yes.
Oh, I don't know. That comes from... I didn't invent that. That comes from Punch and Judy. I mean, that's been going on for centuries.
Were your films principally designed for children?
Well, no, you have to appeal to the adult, or, well, the adults have the money. The children don't have any money.
But so that there was nothing childish in your intent?
No, we sort of designed the films to appeal to ourselves. Yes. And we're our own censors. Within the studio group, if we do something that isn't right, we hear from the various members of the staff, it just isn't right. You can't do that. And I never test a film beyond the studio. Of course, I have enough employees there that are not actively engaged in the creative phases that they would be what I'd call a non-critical audience. They'd be closer to the public. So I test my films with my own people.
Mr. Disney, in recent years, you've started producing these films of real animals, these real animal films like Bear Country and so on.
The nature films.
The nature films. Now, how much is this a direct result of your imagination working with imaginary animals?
Well, it's an offshoot of our development. Before I went into production on Bambi, I took my orders through a special course in animal anatomy. We were getting a little closer to the real animal in Bambi. And with these characters, they're not actually close to the actual animal itself. Right. So animal anatomy is a thing that is not taught properly in the art schools. So I started a special course in animal anatomy. I brought animals into the studio in our art classes. Instead of live models, we had animal models. But I found that the animals in captivity are not themselves. What you see of an animal in a zoo is not actually what the animal is when he's out in nature itself. So I sent camera crews out into the wilds to capture what an animal actually does in his way of life. And from the film that I brought in for the artists to study, I realized that there was a great story there that had never been told. So then, with some of these crews that I put together for this research work, I started in doing some nature films. And with time, they developed to a point where I made 7 short subjects. And by that time, we had developed to a point where I felt we could tackle a nature feature. And the first one was called The Living Desert.
Would you rather be making these films than these earlier films of Mickey and Goofy and Donald and all?
Well, I like to make films, and I've always enjoyed making short subject films because you can put a short subject together in a hurry. You have all the latitude of any little thing that comes to you at the spur of the moment. You can put it in, and you don't have to sustain interest for an hour. It's fun to make a short subject. With a feature, you have to be very careful because you must sustain interest for an hour and 20 to 25 minutes. But I enjoy making all kinds of films.
Disney, thank you very much.